What's good, everybody? Hello and welcome to Against the Fence. We're back here tonight with another Q&A session, and today we're joined with Hakeem Dawodu, residing in the UFC's Featherweight division, who's got a professional record of 13 wins, 4 losses, 6 wins and 4 losses in the UFC, fighting out of Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Hakeem, you're in the car at the moment. Clearly just wrapped up with training, right?
We're not wrapped up. We on a quick intermission, and then right back to it.
Okay, I see. There's clearly perhaps some things in the works then for you at the moment, but we've not seen you complete in sort of nearly a year now. Now, talk us through some of the things that you've been doing / working on in that time.
We've been working on my strength and conditioning. We've been working on my wrestling, my jiu-jitsu, and just really working on myself. And we're in the works of renegotiating a new full fight contract. I should have that all settled by next week. And we're most likely going to be on that Edmonton card. So we've been training for that because we knew that was a big possibility. So I've just been really, in the shadows. I haven't been posting too much, but I've been really putting in that work.
Cool. That's good stuff to hear. Yeah. I mean, distractions aside, right? The MMA world online can be a bit toxic at times, and you just kind of got to shut away from it, right?
And I had a couple haters, couple doubters, after my last performance, even though, regardless of, I lost my last performance, and it was tough, because I really thought I won that fight. So there's a couple of things I had to look back and adjust on my fighting style to make sure I don't get robbed like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. And that Cub Swanson fight was kind of like a bit of a back and forth technical battle. You busted his nose up, looked solid in the clinch, and landed some perfect counters on Cub. What was the kind of main takeaway from that fight? Because Cub is an experienced veteran who's fought some of the best in the game, and there must have been like some things you've learned from that, right?
Yeah, it was a tough fight, but everyone's gonna have their different opinions, but me and my boxing coach in that fight, I was pressing the action. I was the one coming forward. I was the one making things happen, and there wasn't one part in the fight where I felt like he hit me hard. You know what I mean? You look at me after the fight, I didn't have one mark on my face. So, it really taught me that fight. I guess you can't leave it in the hands of the judges because you never know what people are seeing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of a bit of an old saying that Dana used to say quite a bit on The Ultimate Fighter, and it kind of still rings true to this day, really. We're still complaining about judges, and things like that. I mean, especially for some of the decision I thought this past weekend at the Perth card. I mean, with the main event, I still need to rewatch it, but I felt that Izzy was up on the cards, but apparently he wasn't. But
I thought Izzy was up.
Yeah.
Up until he lost, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. No, for sure. Now, back onto Cub there. He was kind of like surprised by the outcome of that fight. You probably felt that you'd done enough to get the decision, as you said a second ago. Is it a matter of hunting for the finish in your next fight, or do you think it's a matter of making some small adjustments in your preparation?
I think obviously getting the finish, and I just gotta be, so completely dominant that I leave no. I really thought that was a dominant performance. Our last performance, I had a lot of people reach out. Even Joe Rogan reached out to me and told me he thought it was a bad decision. But at the same time, I got to look at myself and not blame anyone but myself. And we did some small adjustments, and as well as some big adjustments. Some things I really had to pay attention to, and I definitely think when you see me back in the ring, which is Octagon real soon, you're going to see some big changes.
So what kind of changes were they, if you don't mind me asking?
In my style?
Yeah.
We didn't. I don't want to give too much up. You know what I mean? But just looking at tape, some of the ways that I've been blocking, I can maybe see how the judges might not see that and score it as a shot.
Mm.
Just just a lot of subtle changes to get me really on the scorecard, and we've been working my grappling a lot and just making sure I'm really complete, so I don't have the same issues no more. You know what I mean? I don't want to give away my game plan too much, but I've been really working, and I'm really excited to showcase, to improve me and Hakeem.
Oh, okay, good stuff, good stuff. We've got Tone in the chat who says, "How are we doing, Hakeem?" And he also says, "Carb, a veteran of the game. Don't be hard on yourself." So there you go. Fans tuning in, giving you some love as well. So that's good to see. Now you took to social media last week to express your interest in sort of rematching Julio Arce, who's actually been on the channel before as well. It was a close split decision between the two of you, but why did you feel the need to kind of call for that rematch? Is it that a name that the UFC perhaps suggested to you first, or do you just want to kind of put that one to bed?
It was really he was expressing that he was having a hard time finding a fight, and I was having a hard time trying to find a fight for Edmonton, and and that's kind of how it kind of came together. Like, hey, if you're looking for a fight, I'm looking for a fight. Let's get something going. And that's really all it is. You know what I mean? First time was a split decision win on my part. I thought it wasn't split, but whatever he thought it was, and I would gladly run it back. So there's a good possibility that could happen. There's a good possibility that the UFC might match me up with somebody else. Well, I should know this all by midweek.
Midweek. Oh, okay. So fingers crossed, then we can get a confirmed fight announcement from your end. I mean, look, I like to consider myself a bit of a matchmaker as well myself, and I've got three potential matchups that I would personally like to pair you up with. One of them being Pat Sabatini. I think it's a good solid one in terms of like where you both are in your careers. Jack Shaw and Billy Quantillo. What do you think of those three?
I think all three of those are guys I'd be willing to fight in a heartbeat. I got no problem with any of those guys. So, we'll see. I don't know what their schedule is like. I don't know who they're going to match me up with, but I got no problem with any of those names.
Yeah, exciting stuff. Exciting stuff. We don't really have a main event yet for that Edmonton card, do we? It's only just been announced.
I think it's Rose. Rose is fighting, I'm pretty sure. I forget who she's fighting. As well as there was another name I can't remember off the top of my heart, but they did announce the two main events already.
Yeah, I did see it pop up the other day. Yeah, that's it. Blanchfield and Namajunas. Derek Lewis on the card against Alexander Romanov. That's exciting. Cody Gibson. We chatted to Cody Gibson before. He's pretty sound. Marc-Andre Barriou as well, another fellow Canadian on there against Dustin Stolfield.
Cody Gibson's fighting my teammate Chad and Hallinger.
Ah, I've actually spoke to Chad before. Man, that's yeah, I was speaking to both of those guys, and yeah, both of them are pretty sound. Chad can bring it, man, can't he?
Yeah, Chad's from Champ, so yeah, we've trained together a lot.
Damn. All right, no, that's exciting stuff. Should shape to be a nice little card for the Edmonton fans, and fingers crossed you get on the main card as well, huh?
Yeah.
That's what it's
all
about.
Last time I was in Edmonton, it was a real good time. It was a great time. So I don't see why they wouldn't bring me back on. I think they're in the process of just getting me somebody right now.
That's right. Do you know? Are you quite friendly with Mike Malott as well over in Canada?
Yeah, Mike Malott. He's from the other side of Canada. He's real good. He's been doing great things in the UFC, and me and him fought back in 2014.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
That's actually mad because he's obviously a welterweight as well.
Yeah, we both fought at 145 for WSOF Canada back in the day.
Wow.
In Edmonton, actually.
Yeah, he's a good dude. Very he's quite well rounded, and he's quite unfortunate against Neil Magny that last time out. So fingers crossed that he can get a W next to his name and really catapult you Canadians out there, because I know there's a lot of politics, MMA politics involved over in Canada at the moment, and of course, fingers crossed they can keep providing shows
Yeah,
for you
exactly.
guys.
But
Yeah.
yeah, Mike Malott, he was a real good fighter. We had a good fight, and we've always been friends since after the fight.
Oh, that's good to hear, man. That's good. That's solid to hear. Let's side away from you for a second, and let's talk about some of the kind of news and things that have come out of the MMA world at the moment. One thing in particular, Khalil Roundtree getting the title fight against Alex Pereira. Have you got any thoughts on that at the moment? Because it's kind of hit the MMA world as a bit of a storm, really. It's kind of come out of nowhere.
Yeah, a lot of people I think are upset about it because technically he failed a drug test, and I've heard both stories. I heard it was a tainted supplement. He didn't mean to take it, so it was innocent. But I think a lot of people are just kind of mad on the concept of someone who failed a drug test, and they feel like, I think Ankalaev is ahead of him and he deserves the shot. So, I think a lot of people are just kind of upset like that because they don't feel like he deserves it in the aspect of ranking. And
Yeah.
if I was the number one contender right now and I was supposed to be next up, I'd be extremely upset as well. On another note, I can see why the UFC is doing that, because he's a striker. He's a Muay Thai guy. He always tries to go for the knockout. So I definitely see the UFC is going with this because they want a striking a nice striking match, a big exciting match, and those two styles are really going to collide. Personally, I think Alex is going to catch him, but you never know. You know what I mean? So, and at the same time, I'm pretty sure he's coming off like 4 wins with at least 3 finishes, 4 finishes. So he's definitely he's been putting in work. So I kind of see both sides of the story, but at the same time, I do feel the number one contender should get the shot over style or popularity kind of contest. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And don't get me wrong, I mean, the start of the year, I actually put kind of Khalil Roundtree as one of my ones to watch for the year. I think it was heading into the Anthony Smith fight, because I felt like, if Khalil can kind of really dial things down and get things sort of properly right mentally, because he's got phenomenal skill set. His striking is elite. And I always felt that fight could very well propel him into sort of the rankings and where he can then go on to a bit of a run. Wasn't expecting a title fight, but I think he can actually do a really good job against Pereira. I really do. But yeah, like you said, I think the UFC are clearly trying to give the fans the most entertaining fights as possible. And maybe they are kind of shying away from some of these wrestle heavy fighters, which kind of don't really make sense to me, especially when the sport is MMA at the end of the day. And I think it kind of ties inside with the recent activity with Muhammad Mokaev getting cut and released from the UFC, who I think didn't deserve it fight-wise for what he was doing in the octagon. He had a couple of straight wins where he finished dudes in the 3rd round, which I thought was, it's fairly entertaining if he's not completely going out and destroying people. But I guess, from what we've heard behind the scenes, he's been a bit of a nightmare with the matchmakers. But I don't know, man. I think it's somebody who's very confident in himself and was clearly gunning for a title fight and being the youngest champion possible. But, it is what it is, man. I think the hierarchy need to kind of understand things maybe a bit better from a fighter's perspective. I don't know what you think about that.
Yeah, it's definitely sad. The kid had dreams of being the youngest, champion ever. He was undefeated. He was on a winning spree. He just beat Manuel Cape, who's real legit tough fighter. Yeah, but I don't know the full story. You know what I mean? We're on the same management, but yeah, I know as much about the whole thing. Supposedly, yeah, behind the scenes, this and that. I don't really know. You know what I mean? It's a sad situation, and I guess it's a reminder. There's a certain way you want to, I guess, carry yourself and handle yourself, regardless of how you feel about somebody. You know what I mean? So, it's very unfortunate. I don't think it's probably going to be the last time we see him. He seems like he's got a lot of skills. So who knows? Maybe he puts 4 good fights together. We'll see him again in the UFC.
Yeah, I think it'd be undeniable then, really. No, that's true. Got a chat from Tone who says, I think he's asking for a bit of advice here. He says, I just had my first day of training today. It was a Muay Thai class. Any advice for me, Hakeem? So first training, if you put yourself back into kind of all those years ago where you kind of took your first class, is there anything that you could perhaps give to him to pass on?
Yeah, just be consistent. Your first class, you're going to be sore. You're going to feel like, you might need a day off. I would just say stay consistent with it. Get used to the grind. Get used to the pain and the hurt and just the work. And, all of a sudden, a year, 2 years goes by just like that, quicker than you know, and you'll find yourself in a real good position, being consistent with the training. Muay Thai, I started off actually with Taekwondo, but I didn't start fighting. I started fighting in Muay Thai, so I had a lot of fights in Muay Thai. I think I had over 70 fights just Thai boxing alone, so I got a special heart for Muay Thai always. And yeah, I would just say stay consistent, and if you like to study, seeing the different styles, make sure you look at the different styles that these other countries have to offer, not just styles from Thailand. Like I was a big fan of, obviously Thai boxing, but I also liked how the Dutch used to kickbox, the Belarus Russians, Ukrainians. So I would just say take it all in and put it all together and kind of create your own style.
No, I think that's pretty much perfect, to be honest. Yeah, in terms of advice wise, and obviously, it is going to be hard. You're going to get battered and bruised at times, and I guess at the end of the day, it's all love, and it's all about kind of improving bit by bit with each session. Really, is no one's going to kind of go out there and try and maliciously take you out. It's everyone's just trying to graft and be better at the same time. So yeah, and that's also some stuff. Yeah. He also says, I'd like to see you fight Andre Feely, Hakeem. What do you think? I think that's a banging fight.
I'd love that matchup. I would truly love that matchup. I think I match up really good with him. I saw he kind of had a tough fight with Cub, and just watching that fight, Cub was actually the one coming forward, and he was kind of on the back foot. And if you watch the way I fought Cub, it's the complete opposite. So I really think that'd be a good matchup.
Yeah, no, that's pretty solid. Yeah, he's very crafty striker. Yeah. Yeah, he's a fun one to watch, and he's always got to look out for. He had a good scrap with Nathaniel Wood from over here in the UK, and he's another one to kind of watch out for in the future. Fingers crossed. Making the waves in the MMA scene. All right, Hakeem, I'm gonna have to leave you there, brother. Thanks for joining us. We got there eventually. There's some hiccups along the way. We had Ash, who was like, doing the times, didn't do the time zones properly for you guys, but I gave him some slating for that, so don't worry.
No problem. I appreciate you for having me, and it's all love, man. And you'll hear from me real soon. I promise that as soon as I know, the fans will know.
Love that. Any last words before we completely shut off?
Hey man, I just appreciate you having me on the show, and to everybody that's supporting me. By this week, we're gonna have some big news, and you're gonna see a really good outing for me this time. I promise that.
All right, stay tuned to social media, guys. Make sure you follow Hakeem Dawodu. The socials are in the description of this video, and also they were on the solo screen just there for a second as well, so you can always just fast forward the tape and grab them off there. So yeah, follow his journey. Some news coming soon, so be sure to look out for that. Smash a like on the video if you've not done so already, and hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. UFC fan channel where fan opinions matter most. And we'll see you on the next video, guys.